Since you've seen what the 3.x version looks like as I currently have it, although it's actually very early in the development, you might be wondering what the 2.4 version looks like. Well, one thing that might stick out: disappointment. And this is, by the way, the full edition. Yes, there's the logos as well. I can actually get rid of the A6 one in my 3.0 version, since Game Studio is not used at all. My real logo will be used, though. But this is what the menus look like for the 2.4 version. There's going to be some major differences. This logo here is also this here is also going to get changed. One of the changes, for example, involves this one. The text here is going to be bigger. I can pretty much guarantee that. It's going to be quite a bit bigger than this. But here, there's actually going to be a traffic light signal, one of those traffic lights with the green light active. But this is to activate free mode. This is the configuration settings. I want to use 640, so I can pretty much center the mouse on the display and stuff so you can actually see things. That should be pretty close. Of course, in the free edition you won't be able to get that. And there's numerous configuration settings here, but I ain't gonna go bother with those. See some of these other ones here. So let me show you some of the elements in this game. In the free edition, you can't go at the diagonal, and you also max out at 200 miles an hour. Well, in the full edition, you can go much faster, and there's also the flare effect. The flare effect in this version is not correct in what it actually is. The 3.x version actually uses the true version. And this is 800 miles an hour, and if you think this is fast, of which you can't go any faster in this version, try Insta Teleport, 9,000 miles an hour. And by the way, you can also set the time. See the time factor? Here's double, here's quadruple, 8x, that is nuts, 16x, 32, 64, and really rack up miles fast with that. And of course, there's also half, quarter, and note that it's actually updating it's actually frame updating based. Well, that's the downside about the 2.4 version. It's Game Studio's single variable type that really prevented me from doing anything further. It's also why there's no slopes, because I'd actually max the height out and get variable overflow, and weird things happen when that occurs. Weird things, yes. I'll just show you some basic maneuvers here. Here's frame advance mode. I haven't played this game in close to a year, so I don't know the exact details. I don't remember many of them, at least I could say. You might notice how kind of bad the graphics look compared to the 3.0 version. Well, one thing to take note of. Well, got a mind drift there. The 3.x version's graphics look a whole bunch better than this, as you can kind of tell. It's not a Game Studio limitation, rather it's something else. Yes, I'm going up close to 1,000 miles an hour. And if you think that's fast, you might want to try the 3.x version, where you can get faster than that on the horizontal. Cut down the weighting. Okay, ready for a lot of speed? And yes, in the 2.4 version you get a whole bunch of those errors. The 3.x version, optionally, can do the same thing. But there's also filters. I have a warning level system. Major errors such as crashes or file not found errors, those will show up. But something like jumping when you actually can't, or using the flash attack when you can't, initially are not available. So what is the point of the game? Well, I'll show you. Okay, I'll set the duration here. The 3.x version has 9 difficulty settings. Some details are classified though, so I can't reveal anything. There is a rank system. 0 through 8. This mimics about rank 2 or so. This is probably a 3 or a 4. This is a 5 or a 6. This is either a 6 or a 7. So yes, 8 is even harder than Master. So let's take practice mode, difficulty. Challenge 1. This is one of those that's actually provided in the 3.0 version. It'll run differently because of the fact that there's slopes involved. So, let me demonstrate. But you might notice that it's actually not starting. Well, you actually have to come to a full stop in order to do this. In the 3.x version, you actually have to get to the finish line in order to stop. In order to start. But the finish line can be 45 miles away. Or the starting line, I mean. But there is a method for working around that. It's called insta-teleport. You'll get there in 18 seconds at the most. And you don't have to bother with stopping either. So you got 600 points there. Okay, that's pretty much how it is. This is just practice mode. Don't know if I got it there. Ooh, that's a good one. But that's the basic concept here. Of course, it can change, go to Master and things like that. I noticed that this high score is reset. Here's Master. Yes, 4x time, if you didn't notice that. Barely made it. Notice how big the score is. See if I can improve on that. Ooh, not much. That's the thing about Master. Of course I like doing this kind of stuff. Now of course to quit you can do that. Now that I think about it, that might actually be about rank 6, I'd say, 7. Well, it's either 6 or 7. But that's basically it for the free edition. Of course, when you actually make progress or set your high scores and stuff, the game will automatically save. Here you have to do it manually. That's one of the downsides. And the 3.x version's intended price is a maximum of $6.95. $5.95 is the target, with $4.95 for the early release. Even though the graphics are a lot better, it's cheaper. A lot cheaper. 56 challenges in the 3.x version, potentially more. 9 difficulty settings instead of 4. Just to give you an idea. A whole lot more graphics, a lot of new settings, and new abilities, and stuff like that. It's a big improvement.